So now we're going to try and develop some general rules for why we would be more or less sensitive to the price of something. And what I want you guys to keep in mind as we're going through all of these ideas is the idea of substitutability. How easy is it to switch away from using this thing and use something else instead? If it's really easy, we're going to tend to be more sensitive to the price. If it's really hard to substitute for that thing, we'll tend to be less sensitive to the price. Okay, so let's run through some product characteristics. First one, literally the availability of close substitutes. How many things there are available for sale that are similar and could be used in place of the product we're looking at will determine how sensitive we are to price. For tap water, there's not a lot of good alternatives. And so for this reason, among a couple of others, we tend not to be very sensitive to the price of tap water. On the other hand, lots of good substitutes for Nikes, so we would tend to be more sensitive to the price. Second idea, the idea of whether this good is something that you need or something that you just love, that you would like to have. Is this a necessity or a luxury? For many of us, gasoline is a necessity. I live about 40 miles from Ashland, and so whenever I go into work, I have to buy gasoline, right? I have to use gasoline to go to work. So for me, that's a necessity. And even if the price of gasoline goes up a lot, I'm still going to have to buy it. On the other hand, movie tickets just aren't that way for me. I haven't been to the movies for a good 3 or 4 years at this point, I think. And for many people, there's lots of other entertainment options that you could engage in, and if movie tickets are expensive, you could just choose not to buy them. You could buy something else instead. What else can affect how sensitive we are to the price? Well, one thing that can affect how sensitive we are to price is the time horizon that we're talking about. So if we're talking about today, we may not have very much ability to change what it is that we're doing. If you need gas today and the price of gas is high today, what are you going to do? You can't really change your need for gasoline instantly. But if the price of gasoline went up and stayed high for a long time, you might make changes to your lifestyle. You might move someplace where you didn't need to drive as far. You might buy a car that uses less or even no gasoline. But the thing to emphasize here is that you can't do that immediately. It takes time to do that, and so if we're looking at a longer period of time, we would typically say that you're going to be more sensitive to the price. Last one, and this one's a little bit tricky perhaps to understand. I don't know how you guys thought about the jeans one back here, but depending on how you thought about it, you might have answered differently. If you were thinking of just jeans in general, the general category of clothing called jeans, maybe you're the sort of person who's like, you know what, I really want to have a pair of jeans available. And so whether that pair of jeans is $20 or $100, I'm going to buy a pair of jeans. That would be a case in which your sensitivity to price is pretty low. But if you thought about a specific brand and style of jeans, well, there might be really good substitutes available for that. Instead of using this particular style and brand of jeans, you could switch to a different style and brand. And so if you were thinking about it like that, it would make sense that you might be very sensitive to the price of that particular product of jeans.